Hey everyone, it's Dan with Pain For You, painforyou.com. Today's topic, dun dun dun, fear. And fear is a big deal as it relates to chronic symptoms and chronic pain, and anxiety and stress and life and world events and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about fear today, specifically as it relates to chronic pain and chronic symptoms. So before I do that, we'll just take a couple of nice relaxing breaths. I love how green everything is over here. Breathe out the stress. Breathe in the confidence. Breathe out the noise and the static. Breathe in the peace. Unfortunately, my neighbor's not doing any work with his tractors or power washers or weed whackers or leaf blowers or any of that crap. It's nice to get some quiet time out here. Anyway, so fear is a big deal, right? And so we had our symptoms start, and then we started to go to doctors. We heard all sorts of different theories on what's causing the pain, what's not causing the pain. I see something on the MRI, I don't see anything on the MRI. If it's gastrointestinal problems, we've done all the tests, we've kind of scoped you this way, we've scoped you that way. We don't see anything that would be causing the problem. There's all sorts of different theories as to what's causing our chronic symptoms or chronic pains. And so we get medicalized, and that really increases the fear because we had this one instance of some type of pain or symptom and it persisted, so we went to the doctors, as we should. But then we really get wrapped up into the medical system, and we start researching, and we start going to Wikipedia, WebMD, Dr. Google. We start reading about all these horrible things, and sometimes we'll go join these Facebook groups about the diagnosis that we've been given. And if it's not one of the TMS groups, which are fairly useful, but it's one of the other more mainstream Facebook groups, it's full of horror stories and the worst case scenarios and everybody who's struggling. And it's just one anxiety attack after another on these, chronic pain or symptom Facebook groups. And what does that do? Excuse me. What does that do? It ratchets up our fear higher and higher and higher. Then we start to forecast ourselves never getting better. And so what could have been, a one-time instance of pain has now turned chronic through the fear, the focus, the anxiety about the symptoms. And so we really get wrapped up in this world of fear. And so this video, I really want to give you some strategies on how you can kind of hit the reset button. I did that video a while back, but the reset button, which will say, all right, we're going to take everything that we were told, kind of throw that out the window, and now, excuse me, and now evaluate that based on our TMS knowledge and the TMS reality. And I always like to say, this isn't a matter of faith. It's not a matter of just, blind faith. It's a matter of accurate information. So when we look at our fear, what are we actually afraid of? Are we afraid of the things the doctors told us? Are we afraid of the belief that maybe my body's messed up and I'm going to be this way forever? Do I believe that, or am I fearful because now that I know about TMS, I'm fearful that I'm not going to be able to figure it out and be able to end it, because I've heard about TMS and I read the books and I know about TMS, but I didn't get any better. Well, keep in mind, I just pointed this out on in the TMS Mind Body Prescription Facebook group. Somebody said something about anybody else not getting better despite knowing about TMS. And my message was, it takes more than just knowing about TMS. You actually have to do something, which is why I kind of map out that, that framework all the time. So fear. the fuel of the TMS is fear, attention, right? The more we fear the symptoms, the more attention we give the symptoms, the more significant they are, the more power they have, and oftentimes the more intense they are, right? So it's really important to turn down the fear. And I talk about that a lot. But we do that through essentially through accurate knowledge and acceptance of that knowledge. And it is challenging for sure, because what I'm suggesting you do is take all of that information, the diagnosis and the prognosis from these fancy guys with the fancy degree up on the wall and the white jackets and all of their authority, and take all that information you've got and set it aside and begin to look at your symptoms through the lens of TMS. Too much stress, stress illness, distraction pain, right? This is really where you can reframe your entire perspective on your symptoms. It doesn't matter what your symptoms are, how intense they are, how long you've had them, the duration, the location, the type of symptoms. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we got to learn to turn down the fear, and we do that with the accurate information. Read a Sarno book. Watch my video at painforyou.com. Start to reframe your symptoms under that umbrella. Do the assessments. They're all listed in the Pain For You group on the announcement, which is the very first post that you'll see every time you go to the Pain For You group on Facebook. And start to really get the knowledge, the assessment, meaning, yes, I have this thing called TMS. And then you really got to make a decision to accept that. Now, once you have that accurate information as far as what is causing your symptoms or your pains, it's much easier to grab that fear dial and turn it down, right? I mean, it becomes much easier to do that. So, accurate information, really, really important. And then when I say, you know, there's nothing to fear because your body's okay, people will say, but it hurts so bad. I fear the pain. Yes, I get it. It's really uncomfortable. But it's not dangerous. It doesn't leave any lasting problems. So it's really important for us to learn to turn down the fear through accurate information. And we need to really reassure ourselves it's just TMS. It's just created in the brain to distract me from these overwhelming emotions. And I know lots of people fear their emotions, right? They absolutely fear them. Why? Because when they get upset, their pain gets worse, right? And it becomes a little vicious loop. Remember, I did a video, I don't know, several days back called Emotions Are Safe. And I laid out a very useful exercise to figure out why you're afraid of your emotions. So go back and look for that. Emotions Are Safe. Just scroll back and find that video, or go to YouTube, go to the channel and search for Emotions Are Safe. Watch that and do that exercise, because if you're afraid of your emotions, it's going to be really tough to feel them in order to teach the brain that emotions are safe and allow the brain to let go of the symptoms. So we really want to create safety. Creating safety is learning how to turn down the volume on the fear levels. But we do that again by reviewing why we think the emotions are unsafe and making a new decision that emotions are cool, they're normal. Yeah, some of them are unpleasant, but whatever. No big deal. Today's a sad day. Tomorrow's an angry day. The next day I might be in a rage or whatever. But they're safe. They don't make you a bad person. They make you human. So watch that video if you're afraid of emotions. And if you are still afraid of the pain, I'm going to suggest to you that you've made it through every single bad day you've ever had. You're still here. You're still fighting. You're still smiling. Or hopefully you're smiling. But we really, really want to learn to turn down the fear. And as long as you're freaking out about the symptoms, about the emotions, fearful, running around in a panic, What's the message that you're giving to your brain? When you're fearful, the message you're sending to the brain is, I am in danger. I have this predator called pain, and it's chasing me. Or I have this predator called anger or rage, and it is so unacceptable, and that's chasing me and bearing down on me. And so, remember what I've talked about so many times. When the brain perceives danger, it turns up the pain, right? And that danger could be emotions, could be social, could be situational, could be movement. I bend over this certain way. And so if you're afraid, fearful of moving, fearful of going out in social situations, fearful of the pain itself, fearful of whatever, getting angry and losing control, you're basically confirming with the brain that you're unsafe. And it's going to be really tough for the brain to turn that down. So it becomes really important for you to use your logic and reasoning and intellect to really validate, am I truly unsafe with the things I think I'm unsafe with? My body. Well, if you know it's TMS and you've done the assessments and you accept that, well, you're not afraid of your body. If you're afraid of movement because a certain movement hurts, well, did pain reprocessing a couple of days ago. Start employing that technique to teach your brain, yeah, I can bend over without it hurting. I can sit down without it hurting. I can get up in the morning without hurting, right? Whatever the condition is that you usually hurt, teach your brain. Use that pain reprocessing video from a couple of days ago. And so we want to teach the brain that you're safe in your body, with your emotions, situationally, socially, whatever it may be. And we need to use our logic and reasoning, because when we're in a fearful, anxiety-ridden state, you know, with the catastrophic thinking about how horrible my life's going to be if I don't end this pain, you're not thinking rationally. So I want you to kind of take a step back and look at things intellectually, as if you were kind of viewing this about somebody else. And yeah, I get it. The pain hurts. The symptoms are really kind of sketchy and scary and freaky, and, you know, what's happening now? Oh, I've got a different symptom. I've got this happening. What's going on? And I'm falling apart. I'm losing my mind. And fear, 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 fear. And I will tell you, nobody ever got better by freaking out. And freaking out is the result of letting the fear run away with you. And by validating, am I truly safe? I actually am. Look, I am safe. The roof is not collapsing. You know, I'm currently safe right now. And learn to soothe yourself with breathing, calming your thinking down. Okay, I am actually safe. And you're using your logic and reason to reaffirm that, yes, it's just TMS. I am safe in the moment. Emotions are just emotions. They don't have any meaning. And, you know, really learn to turn that down. So fear can be, you know, one of those things that if you, I guess some people actually fear fear. And now that I've told you that fear is the fuel for TMS and other symptoms, fear turns on the stress response. So if you've got any immunity issues or, you know, digestive issues, now being afraid, you know, suppresses those things. And so now you're afraid of being afraid because you know it's going to make things worse. And so I don't want you to fear fear. What I want you to do is learn that the things you are fearing are based on perceptions that may be faulty, that may be based on an old paradigm of the medical world, that you can't get better, and we don't know what's wrong, get used to it, you're going to be in pain forever, those types of things. So if you are fearing not being able to get better, perhaps you're basing that fear on a faulty diagnosis or a faulty prognosis of your future. So really, take a good hard look at the knowledge of what TMS is, on the assessment, and that, yes, this is what's going on with me, and use your rationale, your reasoning, your logic And just your awareness of the present moment to go, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I'm actually safe. Yeah, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's freaky. But I'm still safe because it's not creating a permanent damage to the body. So I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys have questions regarding fear? How to learn to turn it down? What specifically do you fear? If I didn't cover it in this video, what else are you fearing? And maybe we can have some dialogue in the comments as to how to respond to any of the fears that I didn't cover. But let me know. Please comment below. Tell me whether or not you found this useful. Fear is the fuel. Attention on the symptoms is also the fuel. Those two kind of work together. If you're fearing something, of course you're staring at it. And if you're placing attention on something, it's kind of easy to get wrapped up in it and get fearful, which is why I always say the attitude of indifference is really important. Learn to shift your focus away from the symptoms because you know it's just TMS and you know there's nothing to fear because it's just unpleasant sensations. Sometimes they're really unpleasant, other times they're mildly unpleasant. But in either case, they're safe. So there's nothing to really fear. And when you can turn down that fear, shift your focus away, learn to feel your emotions and teach your brain that the emotions are safe too, learn to soothe yourself and get out of the stress response, you can get rid of these symptoms because you realize they're not permanent, they're not dangerous, and they're nothing to be afraid of. It's just your brain trying to protect you. And your brain is your best friend. So, let me know what you think. Please comment below. Love you guys and gals. And we'll see you in the next video. If you're watching me on YouTube, please hit the red subscribe button and that notification bell to make sure you get notified when any new videos post. And for anybody new, I do post videos each day at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is New York City time. So, love you guys and gals, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.